This is TVA Demo, a podcast about entertainment issues brought to you by WW84.
Well, given those DC movies, I wouldn't blame them.
That's what I mean. I don't invest anything because it could all fall apart, or maybe
you guys want to talk Wonder Woman. That's how excited everyone is about that movie.
I just okay. A lot of people didn't like it, and I didn't like it. I don't really feel like having a debate about it. I enjoyed what they tried to do with that movie.
Here's the one thing I'll say about Wonder Woman. I don't want to get into it. It's just weird. It's time. I mean, it's Magic Stone. It's a movie about a Magic Stone. And my point is, it's already about a Magic Stone. We can bring Steve Trevor back out of thin air. Don't do this weird, creepy thing where
she's like basically raping another dude.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
That's the one big thing. Take that out. I think maybe it's 40% better.
It is true because that's never the point of contention. Like they never say, "Well, it's not ethical to continue because you hijacked someone else's body and life." Like it's more like.
I guarantee you, though, if the guy knew what happened, he'd probably be totally cool with it.
Yeah, but they didn't even tell him. He didn't even tell that guy. Well, I mean, because by the end of the movie,
your phone, if you would, please.
Yeah, by the end of the movie, nuclear bombs are manifesting out of thin air. I was like, they can just make the person. And you know why?
Problem.
Because I say, you know why you do that? Because when he leaves, when she says, "I want my powers back," and they have to do this awkward thing where he walks around the corner. I just think about they could just have him fade into dust, and it's not like you're Onward. You ever seen that Onward in the movie, the Pixar movie? It's the same thing. It's like, oh, it's nice, and she's looking at him. It could be really emotional. This one's weird. Just like, go walk over there. I'm gonna run away. And it's like, and the guy's like, what happened? It's like,
oh, there's so many things. Like when he's able to fly a modern jet somehow.
There's
so many things.
All of that. Yeah. I think the creepy sex marionette thing's just weird. I think that's
so. My biggest issue with the movie was I really just this it's going to fit right in with everything else I've been saying tonight. I didn't understand what his powers were. The guy that became the stone.
Yeah,
I couldn't understand exactly what he was able to do. Or
I mean, the problem with the movie just in general is just from that point, there's no from each character from her, there's no I don't understand what anybody's point is, or what their motivations are, or what they're doing in the story, and there's no real bad. At the end, there's they kind of fight, but then he's not really a bad guy, but he is. But nobody.
Oh, that scene was embarrassing to me. She's talking, remember love and light and hugs and just happy people and little puppies. And it's oh my God.
Essentially talking down is what she did.
I'm not saying she's not a great actress, but in that scene, it seemed weird. It just
seemed
natural.
Like too much stuff. And we're getting this is where we fall into the problem of Patty Jenkins.
They do that all the time with too many characters.
She didn't do it, but she wrote this one, and she didn't write the last one.
Trying to bring Cheetah in.
Cheetah was not. I liked her because I like Kristen Wiig, but it wasn't necessary.
You know what?
Bring anything to the story.
Well, she had to have somebody to fight. She wasn't going to be able to fight.
Don't have to fight if you're going to commit to that. Because I love this idea that they were trying to give her a story where she wasn't fighting her way out of it. They were she was trying to redeem that guy. She was trying to save that guy.
But can you imagine screening that for a bunch of studio execs and they go,
no one got punched.
Yeah, I think it had just too much.
I think people already didn't enjoy that. Commit fully to that if you're already this far in.
I think if you just had that Cheetah story, it'd been great. It's like a Loki story, and she's like Thor, and she's the jealous one. Let's just do that. Why do we need to have a?
I was with the movie at the beginning when she's in the mall and they're doing the robbery. I'm just make this a movie. That was fun. You don't have to bring some magic stone in and make things confusing.
That's Superman 2 intro. That's what it is. It was great. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good stuff.
The invisible jet just made me cringe so bad.
I didn't like it because it didn't mean anything.
It was just there to we have to explain how she has an invisible jet.
And they had to go a really long way to make it happen.
Yeah.
And they don't
unnecessary.
You want to talk about explanations about that? He knows how to fly, and a jet gets 5,000 miles. How do they get to Israel? They're going
the same magic that made it invisible.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, the museum keeps all those planes fueled up on,
Yeah, they do.
And just ready to go.
What would have made that whole thing work better is when she says, I'm gonna try to use some Zeus powers that I never tried to use for to make us all invisible. Like that's the first time we're hearing it. Like that's bad to bring that up. But they had like a 20-minute sequence at the beginning of the movie showing her as a little kid and all that. It's like if we're gonna have those two things, then somewhere in that Themyscira sequence at the beginning, someone needs to be trying to show her how to make shit invisible or tap into her Zeus powers or something, so that is a callback. It's a payoff.
I don't even
What
think
was
they
the point of that
tried it.
scene?
I think they went.
And she just decides to make them invisible really quick.
The whole point of like breaking into the museum and all that and everything was to introduce an invisible plane. That's the only reason why they did it.
The scene at the beginning.
There's a bad way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it was an entertaining scene, but what was the point of it?
Well, thematically,
and it was long.
You can't do shortcuts.
Yeah, it took out a lot of the movie. I'll definitely give you that one.
That whole scene was just like, don't take shortcuts.
Yeah,
but where does she take shortcuts in the movie? Am I missing like?
You can't have Steve back. That's not going to work. That's not real.
That's the shortcut.
It's a dumb
all
thing.
right.
No, it's not a great movie. I'm just saying that's what you're kind of getting at. It's like, but it also is just never. This gets. I felt like this also falls in the Walking Dead thing, and I didn't hate the movie. It's just like, like it's the Walking Dead problem where it's like, well, the thing that she let go of and kind of became stronger for in the last movie, if I remember, and that's what she got all her power, and people criticize that moment where she kind of let go of Steve and did all that stuff. Now that she still can't get over it 80 years later, and it's like a big problem. Like, it's like
it's kind of sad that she loves this dude, and for 80 years she won't even look at another guy.
Right.
I mean, I think
yeah.
It might be sweet to think that they're soulmates or something, but at the same time, it's kind of sad. And
it doesn't work
in a good way.
There's also a suggestion in the first movie that because she was on a planet full of ladies, she just wasn't into dudes for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll buy that. I don't think she has to run off and get a boyfriend.
But what I mean is, it is sort of insulting to say that once she had met one dude, she could never go back to anything.
It's not a strong feminist statement.
Yeah,
that's totally.
I do agree that is not a very good message for the film.
And they had the shots of her at the cafe. It's like, yes, dinner for one. Like it's like they make it a big deal. I was like, this is like, she's a goddess. She's like rich, and she has all. She could be anywhere in the world. She's immortal. She could have this great life, and she's just like sitting at cafes.
And she ain't bad looking.
I know. I was like,
right,
so
you could get another man.
So I was like, yeah.
I could rewatch the first one. I guess I haven't seen it since it came out.
We did that because
they didn't know each other that long, right?
Yeah. That's the thing that always drives me nuts in movies is like people know each other for like a week and it's supposed to be like the only good relationship they've
and honestly too, just from a structural standpoint, I rewatched it after this because like I haven't seen that I saw it in the theater. I haven't rewatched it since the theater, and it's like that first one is so good. The first one plays like a Marvel movie.
I remember liking it.
It's a lot of humor there, and it's really well written, and it's funny. It's not cheesy. This one doesn't even have humor in it a lot of times.
The same person made it, though, right?
Yeah, just kind of
she wrote this one. She didn't write the last one. Like she
didn't write the current one?
She didn't write the first one. She wrote this.
The first one was written by someone else. Oh, that doesn't bode well for her writing.
She's in charge of the
Christopher Nolan problem.
Rogue Squadron.
Oh yeah.
Movie.
Interesting. Is she writing that too?
I don't know. Probably.
Well, anyway, I didn't hate it either. I just was underwhelmed. I was a little disappointed
with Rogue Squadron.
It's no BVS. I mean, I wasn't disgusted when I watched it.
And because of the pandemic, we waited so long for it. Because this was supposed to come out a long time ago.
A lot because the anticipation was so high for this movie.
I know.
I had like paper towels and stuff that we bought in like January, like cups at a gas station and stuff, and it had Wonder Woman on it. Like it's coming out any minute now. That was like a year ago.
So far, though, where I hate to be cynical.
They started themselves with Black Widow. It's like put the thing out already.
Yeah, because I mean, by the time it comes out, it's going to be underwhelming if you're waiting this long.
It's going to have nothing compared to what like Spider-Man 3 is going to be out before Black Widow.
Well,
they need to put them out in the order they're supposed to come out, so we don't get confused if these things tie in.
They set a date for it. It's like it's in May.
What kind of distribution deals do you guys have that you can't just run something on Disney Plus?
They said that. Well, I saw the insider thing of this. They said it had to do partly with her contract because she has. Well, she had no. I'm saying that she has deals that are like she gets points for theatrical release, and if they just go, we're not going to do this in theatrical, that's a problem.
Just do simultaneous like HBO is doing.
Well, I think that's what they're going to do. I think
release it in the theater for a week.
They have a
and then
date.
put it on.
Hey, they said it for May, so I mean.
But I guess, are we out of order? Have we skipped?
No, they're going to do May.
So all the movies are still going to be in the order they were before.
They just delayed them a year. Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious how Eternals is supposed to tie in with this Wanda stuff.
Kind of feels like we all did, doesn't it?
Black Widow was supposed to come out like last May, and WandaVision was supposed to come out last August.
Yeah.
No,
they're out of order.
Yeah, that is. And Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come out before WandaVision too.
So we're putting up a huge amount of anticipation on Black Widow, which is probably going to be one of their weaker movies compared to the bigger stuff that they've been doing.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good movie. I just don't think it'll have a lot of impact in the.
But it's not worth
MCU.
waiting like years for.
It's like Ant-Man. They're fun, but they don't have a lot of impact.
You want to crank them out. That's one thing the MCU is really good about. It's like keep it moving, keep it moving. If you don't like Ant-Man that much, wait 2 weeks and watch another MCU movie.
Right. All the MCU movies this year are either wrapping up, which is Black Widow doing, or they're rebuilding, which is Eternals is like an offshoot. And that Shang-Chi, that's another one that's.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Shang-Chi.
Those are the 3 coming out. And the the Eternals and that one have nothing to do. They're just like pushing everything. They're like a new franchise. They're like Eternals is like a shot out.
But it takes place in this world, right?
Well, you don't know. It could be like Captain Marvel. It could be takes place in the 90s or takes place anytime.
I hope not. I do want to see something in the modern day.
I think the Shang-Chi thing is interesting because there's like talk about bringing in, it's the Mandarin, like a real.
Now, Shang-Chi's going to be a fun just because it's kung fu, and I love kung fu movies.
What we need, what we need to do is, and soon is the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yeah, that's in like a month.
That's when we need to do an episode on. Like,
no, they're
releasing it in episodes.
No, they changed it. It's going to be a whole movie.
Oh, what? Why?
I don't know.
We could just watch 30 minutes at a
4-hour movie.
Yeah, I don't know if they didn't confirm that it's all 4 hours, but they said it's going to all release on the 18th.
Why?
Well, we'll just agree to watch 30 minutes and then talk about it. And the next week we'll watch the next 30 minutes.
No, now you've already annoyed me. You've already ruined it. God damn it!
In the Eternals comic,
if
guys already fucked it up.
If his previous 2 films are any note, we're going to be talking about that for the next 3 years.
No, because it was fun when they were going to do it as a TV show.
Yeah,
we did it in installments and talk about, because there's no way that this movie is going to make me mad because I don't have that level of investment.
No, I'm looking at it with the funny.
I'm super excited to see what they do with it. Like, this is such a weird thing, and then when they were going to break it out into episodes. Yeah. I'm also going to make it longer. I'm like, ooh, I want to see this.
And I don't have anything. I don't think the other one was good either. So I have no skin in this game as far as, but I do have skin in the game where I don't like a lot of the Zack Snyder, those fan people. So it's like, this better be
they're kind of
the
weird.
best movie.
I have liked Zack Snyder's movies in the past. I'd like to see him redeem.
Not him. I don't have a problem with him.
Like the perfect Justice League.
I don't like
that.
Cinema Blend has that whole show based on this and that guy.
It's already R-rated.
Yes, he has so many like sycophants because of this whole thing. They're like, well, you can like what he did, but I don't think this is going to be the second coming. They're like, whatever this is,
it's going to be the Justice League.
I feel bad for DC fans because they're just desperate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is like a QAnon thing. If this doesn't work out, they're going to have a problem.
They're just going to put it off into something else. Like, well, that wasn't the real edit. They made compromises.
This is like an episode 1 situation for us. It's like what happened there? I don't know. It's
just put it away. Just put it away. Sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Yeah.
But should I rewatch the current cut before I watch because I won't remember what's new. Like if I'm watching it, I will have no idea what was added.
I might do that. That does sound like a fun comparison because they'll be night and day.
Yeah,
I mean, right now I'll watch it and go. I have no memory if it's new or old.
There's more Superman stuff, but I don't know. He's probably gonna be evil the entire time. I don't know.
I didn't like that. I remember not liking it.
I just want to see what the Gonzo vision is.
Well, in the Josh Whedon cut,
no emotional need for me to be fulfilled in this.
They made him. Well, yeah, we learned our lesson, but yeah, they made him less evil in that one. This is when I'm like, He hates Superman so much. We'll see what happens. And maybe
You think he'll be more evil?
Well, he always is. He does. They think Superman's boring, so they have no idea. So I want to know, but I could be totally wrong. What if it's like amazing, Sean? What if like he does it as like, oh my god, like
it can
that would be fun
for me, because if it's terrible, so what? That doesn't bother me. And if it's amazing, then it's a win for me. And it'll be interesting to see what they do either way.
Watching so many channels, it's just I've seen so many arguments they talk about it, and they're like, well, because BVS, like they're like talk about like BVS being amazing. I'm like, stop right there. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't follow this anymore.
I don't care what you do to this.
Andrew,
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
You cannot make anything good enough for me to go back and say, I was probably wrong about BVS. Like
maybe this cut will be even darker, even more grim and violent.
Andrew's just like, from this point forward, anything you say.
Yeah. I can't trust any of this stuff. I mean, BVS is like, again, we talked about it a billion times. I love Star Wars more as a franchise, but BVS is the only movie I've ever walked out of like disgusted. I literally walked out of like, jeez.
Yeah, because even Rise of Skywalker, I liked it when I saw it.
I was like,
later on, I was like, well, I guess you're right. That wasn't very good.
I walked out of
BVS, I'm like, why isn't this movie over yet? This is garbage. Like that's
never done that before.
In the movie theater, I was like so disconnected from the movie. Then I'm like, this is hot garbage.
I just fell asleep right in the middle of it.
Yeah,
and it's still not over.
Right. So we'll see. I am optimistic. I'm excited. I love superhero stuff.
Like, they should do some movie cut. I thought that was a perfect idea to break it up into installments.
And also, I think Martian Manhunter is going to be it because they said that guy's always been Martian Manhunter now. That's the thing.
Yeah, why not? Go crazy. That's what
I don't remember what guy or anything about Martian Manhunter.
And he's in all of them. Like they just said, he's always been Martian Manhunter. I was like,
I don't want to see you guys pull any stops on this because act like this is the last chance.
The lanterns in there, all everything. Let's do it.
Anything on the table if you.
I guess I rewatched all the Marvels. I could rewatch the DCs too.
No, there's like 3.
It's more of a chore, but I could do it. I guess
I could.
Again, yeah.
Yes, ultimate cut.
It's confusing though because they had the Dark Knight stuff, which was fun, and now this Batman, and now they're making another Batman. But they're also releasing an expanded this Batman, and Ben Affleck might be coming back for different Batman.
They've already got.
Oh my God, you guys are confusing. You know how I feel about timelines?
Well, there's a Snyder. It's just a Snyderverse. Like Nolanverse is totally different.
Oh, so it's just there's 8 different Batman series franchises at the same time.
There's like 4 different comics with Batman at the same time too.
Yeah, but that's different.
That's not different. It's the same.
It's different
at all. I actually like that. If
I do not hold comics to the standard I hold movies to.
Comic books don't count.
Comics can do all kinds of goofy stuff, and I was like, "That's fun. I won't care." But if you do it in a movie, I'll be like,
I'm glad everybody's embracing the multiverse because that way, if one doesn't work, they'll just do another one.
Well, how did that happen? Because the Spider-Verse is how it broke. Like everyone's like, "This can work."
Spider-Verse might be the one that made it. That made it
palatable.
So. That was a damn good movie.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
That's the best. Like one of the up there was like one of the best superhero movies ever.
And that also came from
and it has a pig.
The comic book.
It's got a porky pig.
I went to the National Association of Broadcasters convention that year that Spider-Verse came out, and they did a panel, and the producers of it and everything. And these are industry professionals in this room, you know, and they got a standing ovation at the end of it because people liked it so much. You know, these are all like crusty old TV execs and stuff hanging in there.
Great movie.
I thought it was good.
Well, it's technically good. It's not just story-wise. It's technically good. Like
it looked really cool too.
Well, and that's why,
it's like groundbreaking animation on top of just being a really good story. Yeah. Like that's when people were saying, "Well, like Marvel and Sony may split on Spider-Man," and like that's fine because Sony finally figured out how to make Spider-Man movies. Well, so I like him in the MCU, but if he's not, I'll still like the Spider-Man movies.
I almost kind of wish they would because in the MCU, Spider-Man's getting involved in these really big things, and I always thought of him as like he's protecting his neighborhood kind of back, Yeah. And Doc Ock and stuff, they're big bad guys. Just the Lizard. I mean, they're scary things, but
I'm actually surprised.
I see him as a New York thing, and you put all these other superheroes in New York, and it starts the comics pulled it off.
I'm
somehow.
actually surprised that Disney.
Fantastic Four, though. I think that'll be fun.
I'm actually surprised that Disney has built so much of the MCU around Spider-Man.
But they don't have full control of it.
Right, because
Wow.
and I think that's kind of what happened is they made a deal, to make these, first two Spider-Man movies, and Sony came back and said, "Okay, we're going to yank it unless you
pay up."
Pay up.
Yeah, Disney. They were the ones hardlining on that deal.
Yeah, they're the ones who didn't want to pay up.
Sony ended up looking worse out of the deal, but really it was Disney that was.
Well, we also never know too. We heard a deal.
I know.
We heard a deal in progress. You know what I mean? Like that all could have been part of tactics and things that just happen all the time that we never hear about. But somehow
that is. Yeah.
What about Venom? Is he part of the MCU at all?
I think the deal that they reworked allows them to have Spider-Man in the Venom.
He's going to be in Venom. Yeah, I think
it'll be a lot of fun.
So the MCU
Spider-Man
I think rewatch Venom.
Won't ever show up in the MCU.
Yeah, Venom we won't see in an Avengers movie, but
it's kind of weird to think that they're bad guys of that level of creepiness. They're just running around, but they're not big enough to get in the movies.
I like that
you know what I mean?
Universe richer. It's like
yeah.
That's why I wish they would embrace things even like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because you get so many secondary characters that get introduced when you see the world full of guys like that.
What's his name's in Spider-Verse too, though? Charlie Cox. He's Daredevil.
Yeah, they're bringing back him and John Bernthal.
And actually, they said the reason they haven't touched it, one is because they said that Netflix had like a 2-year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they couldn't do it.
The pandemic. You had to
they just waited. They're like, all right, we'll wait until that happens, and they're like, that's a great idea. See, this is why
I was saying that they're taking the character, the actors. They're taking the actors, but they're not gonna accept the continuity of the old show. Like it's just
maybe. I mean,
they're just not gonna address it. I guess I don't know if they're gonna say it didn't happen.
Well, Daredevil, if you watch, the whole show is based on that they were in syncing with the movies. The movies didn't recognize.
Yeah, I don't think anything got introduced in those shows.
Yeah, they mentioned New York and the aliens.
And they mentioned Thor and Iron Man and stuff. So it's like
they followed. This is the way this always worked. And they followed this, where usually when you have like a core, which is movies, you develop an expanded universe. And it's like, in their case, the TV shows and stuff like that. Like information flows out from the core, but never in from the outside. So anything that's happened in the movies, you get these guys on the periphery going, oh, that's Lady Sif from the Thor movies. And now she's with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and we're having this adventure. But you're never going to have Thor 3 going, hey, Sif, where were you? I was like, I was with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doing this nonsense. Like, that never happened.
Is that where she was?
Broadcast outward.
I mean, because I watched Thor 3 recently, and I was like, whatever happened to Sif? I mean, I thought she was like a love interest. And
I think they've said she got blipped, was their explanation for why she's not in those.
Well, I guess so.
But
that makes sense.
Supposedly coming back, I think.
I think the real reason she's just on that TV show where she has all the tattoos.
Yeah, and they didn't have room for her in the story that they had for Thor 3.
Yeah. I haven't watched The Shield
I'm
at
glad
all.
She lived because
I'm
of
glad
that.
she didn't. Yeah, the other one just got killed off.
Yeah, unceremoniously executed immediately. Like, so at least they can bring. And it'd be fun if they do a love story, because in the comics there's always a big thing about the love triangle of Sif, Lady Sif, and Jane Foster and Thor. And they don't
shooting that now
very much in the movies, but
they're actually
Thunder would be fun if
they're shooting that now as well at the same time, which is all gonna be awesome too, because that has Christian Bale's the bad guy in that, and then
who's he playing? They said
something.
They announced
maybe or something. I know.
I haven't heard.
But they have guy, which is
but Star-Lord's in that, because they showed like things like
I saw a picture of him.
Yeah. And everybody,
which makes sense because he was with them.
Yeah, so they have to play that. Yeah, so that'll be fun.
And then they showed that. Then because I watched that video again where they and the Ant-Man and the Wasp movies, Quantum Mania. That's what it's called. And it has what is it, Krang? Whatever is it Krang or is that
Kang?
That's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle character.
Yeah, but the guy from Lovecraft Country is playing Kang.
Lovecraft Country, that looks great. I was like,
he's a time traveler, right?
He's a dimension traveler,
yeah. So it's just going to get weirder and weirder.
Real quick, before we go, so I got to go in a second. I did see another when they're talking about that movie and Krang and how that has to do with time travel.
Kang.
Kang. Sorry. Krang, the robot, the brain.
Yeah, I would love to see Krang too. Go ahead.
Somebody mentioned that this is on New Rockstars, I think too. They put out 8 videos a week.
Man, you guys love those guys.
Watch them. It's good. They just talked about stuff.
Stop watching that toxic nerd shit. You
How
watch.
much are they paying you guys to say
I'm
this?
back on the show with Garb.
You're watching that Jar Jar Abrams channel, or whatever. They talked about how we don't know. Talking about Tony when he did the snap, or when did he time travel? They're talking about there's like some kind of blip or something where Tony might have messed with the time or tried the thing, because he has that line at the end game when he said, "What's happening?" He's like, "Time's fighting back," or time. What does he say at the end of the game? He's like,
I don't remember that.
He says something about like, if you do something, time like bites back. He's like, "Trust me." Like he says, like the way he says it, it's like a weird thing. And there's like speculation that you could go back into the moment where like that he interacted with Kang and all these other things. I was like, that's weird that he just didn't.
So like go a whole story that happened while he was snapping.
Yeah, I'm not explaining it well. This is better explained by them. So like, oh, that's feasible.
Going back to the Daredevil thing, I think what they're thinking of, the impression I got is they're going to have them, but all the stuff that happened in the show, like with the hand and Elektra, they might have like a whole new Elektra. They're not, you know what I mean? They're just going to kind of ignore that stuff.
Because I don't want to rehash that shit. They did it already.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was very good. I don't think they did her justice.
I think it was as good as it can be. I don't like Elektra that much.
Yeah, when they get the way Luke Cage and Daredevil work together, and Punisher for a little bit, they're like their neighborhood's protector. I think it's cool if he just runs into him as like, "Hey, I'm a neighborhood protector too. I'm in Hell's Kitchen. You're in," you know.
Yeah, I don't think they need to change the Punisher because he doesn't really have any crazy stuff in his stories. He really did deal with like local bad guys. That's what I liked about his show.
Daredevil did for the most part until they all started trying
until they got like supernatural and weird with it.
I think it's fine. I don't want them to retread any of the stuff they did. Just go, if you don't like it, just don't mention it, but move forward with something else. That's all.
But what if they get a new Danny, what's his face?
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Danny. What do I care? I don't care.
I'm just saying, at that point, you know, it's gonna conflict with the other shows. They can't just ignore it.
Yes,
I guess they can. I don't know. It's weird to me that they're getting the same actors, but they don't.
Anything we want. Maybe it happened and maybe it didn't.
I wonder if they'll redo the origin or explain, you know.
Oh God.
Man, they
shouldn't even do origins for characters we haven't heard of at this point. I don't want any more origin stories. I don't care. We'll pick it up. Just say if he's
it doesn't matter how he got his
really
powers.
Good at karate. I don't need to know where he went to school. He's really good at karate. Who gives a shit?
I have so much stuff that they don't need to
do origin and flashbacks. That's the way you should do it. In the second movie.
What? How'd you get so good at karate? I learned it in Tibet. There it is. All right.
I took some online classes.
Got bit by a spider.
In the second movie.
One thing. Well, how do you have spider? I got bit by a spider. Well, that's
what I like about in the comics. It's not. There's so many in their universe. There are so many that no one asks. It's like, oh, he's a villain. He has powers. You know, it doesn't really matter. It's not like a surprise.
The one that set this up, because in Civil War, they're just like one day. There's like. Why does everybody have like a weird name and outfit now? It's like, I don't know. They do that same thing in Infinity War. It's like there's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Don't stop questioning it. Let's move forward. We don't need origin stories anymore.
They really tried to root the MCU in a realistic kind of world, and now they're moving. Now they're moving away from it, and so it's going to be that awkward in between where you get stuff like this doesn't feel very realistic, but eventually we'll get to a point where there'll be bad guys all over the place. Just all kinds of super villains.
They spent 10 years easing audiences into this shit. Now it's the great time where you can just go nuts with it. If audiences bought in-game, then you're good.
Yeah.
Because that movie's nuts. You couldn't have opened with that movie. You had to close with that movie.
Yeah.
Man, Eternals will be nuts. Have you read the comics?
No.
The Celestials come to Earth, and these dudes are like literally as big as mountains. and they just stand there and they're like judging humanity. I'm like, that's going to be weird to see, like these giant things.
In this one, they've been like blending in with humanity for years.
They've done flashbacks.
Well, the Eternals themselves, yeah, but the Celestials come.
They've had flashbacks of those guys. I think
In Guardians they did with the guy with the Power Stone.
That's
yeah.
Guardians.
And like that head that the Collector lives in, that's
nowhere.
That was an a Celestial.
See, that's awesome.
And of course, Star-Lord's dad was a Celestial, but he didn't look that cool. He was actually a planet, I guess. Right. But how weird it's going to be. In the comic, they look cool because they look like giant, like Voltron-looking dudes or something.
Yeah, in the Guardians flashback, it looks just like the comic book picture.
I love it. Yeah, that'll be.
That's going to be neat to see. And you have Black Knight somehow involved
after the in-game thing, because after then we see the aftermath of them snapping back in and just the chaos. I mean, it's like, what are you gonna do? There's nothing. I mean, I'm sure people are dying when they get snapped back in, because some people were up in a plane. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah, how horrible that'd be.
Somebody was getting
You just snap in midair, the plane's gone. You're like, ah!
I mean, you gotta imagine that he said maybe everybody be safe.
Well, that's what the Russos have said, that
they didn't snap into the exact position they were in, right?
Situations where somebody got,
it might have been awkward, but they snapped people into situations.
Well, there's bad situations. Somebody probably got remarried and stuff. It's really awkward.
Oh, I'm sure that would be awkward.
It's a lot of pain. I just feel I started thinking about just the Earth and people and that.
Back into bed with them, like
we keep adding all these things, and now we're gonna have like other things, just war destroyers. People on Earth are like, "Geez, Louise." Let's just.
It would take society a while to kind of reset.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff to deal with. You know what I mean?
I don't understand how Peter Parker comes back after snapping. 5 years later, he goes to high school, and his friend is still there.
Yeah, he snapped too.
His friends also snapped.
He did?
Main character.
Okay.
Because they address it
really like there's several. They mentioned there's the one. He's like, yeah, you know,
kid grew up.
I got to rewatch that one.
Remember the Asian kid who grew up? He was a nerdy kid, and then he
not his girlfriend.
And now he's all buff, apparently.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a character, Hobgoblin or something.
Is he? No.
I think so. He's Ned Leeds.
No, that's
right?
it. That's not him.
He's not Ned Leeds?
Ned Leeds is his friend, his best
friend.
Yeah,
the guy, the overweight kid.
Yeah, but he looks exactly the same.
No, apparently he has Instagram pictures and he's lost all the weight and he's been working out.
Oh,
look it up.
I was talking about the other character who didn't get snapped when they came back. He was older.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I watched the Marvel movies. I did not watch the Spider-Man movies. I got to watch those, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're not on Disney. That's the one thing.
I know. I went through the one in Disney. They have that playlist of in order, not the order they came out, but the order they took place. That's how I watched it.
That's probably Sony being the thorn in Disney's side.
Well, because the only thing Sony did on that is probably distribute it. So it's like
we have to get stars.
Yeah, I ain't getting stars.
Man, stars. I have stars, but it is funny because it is like it's the big lots of streaming services. Like, I love Hulk. We have Hulk. Like Hulk?
Yeah.
Ang Lee Hulk. Yeah, we have that. Like,
we have The Rock, the actor. No, that movie from the 90s.
Like, yeah, we got Ghost Rider 2.
Yeah, I know they get all these old movies.
I want to see The Amazing Spider-Man. It's like, why is this the Wish version of every movie I like?
Whatever is Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's always like a weird sequel thing. It's like, what?
They
have
all the Spider-Man movies because of the Sony thing. But
between Disney Plus and HBO Max, it's crazy now. They just keep adding stuff. Because they're just opening up that library more and more, like all the stuff they have. So it's like
Paramount Plus is going to be like, I've got CBS right now, and it's decent, but Paramount Plus
uncut Warner Brothers cartoons on HBO Max. That's pretty cool. Like with because the old 1940s uncut Warner Brothers cartoon, Bugs Bunny and stuff. They didn't edit out the pistols and the explosions and all the stuff that happened in the.
Donald Duck make fun of Japanese people.
Yeah, I was gonna say there might be some questionable things in there.
Oh, there is some of that, but it's made like in the 40s.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
they had legitimate beef with the Japanese back in the 40s.
Disney put that message for the things like it was a different time when this was made.
Totally true of the old Superman, the Mike Fleischers. They're great, but they're like Superman in the Japatours.
Oh, it's awkward. Times
Gone with the
change.
Wind has like a 10-minute pre-show now. It's like when you try to watch Gone with the Wind on it
Yeah,
gives a
there's
whole
some-
little documentary.
Yeah. I never liked Gone with the Wind, the movie. It's too
Gone with the
long.
It's always been terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. People love it. I don't know.
Well,
I think
But
it's
I know
a
I have
masterpiece.
piss poor taste. We've already discussed this.
people's parents love it. I don't know if the people love it.
I'm sure when it came out, it was like revolutionary. You know, the way we'd watch some new movie that's amazing. Then
Yeah, so was Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
yeah, it was revolutionary, groundbreaking.
It
How
actually-
dare you not like that movie?
From a technical perspective, it actually was. But that's no reason to keep watching it.
Yeah, it's true. We don't have to save everything, do we? That's a whole new discussion. Let's not get into that.
Let's not get into that right now.
At the end of the let's solve race in the
There's a
last.
reason we just talked about Subaru.
What's HBO Max got coming out that
All
I
the-
need to look for? I
King
mean, they have
Kong.
DC
Not
stuff,
really.
right? So,
Yeah.
like, what's happening? Is there
new-
something that I need to something cool coming?
Snyder cut. What are you
Dude,
talking about?
Other than that,
Bitch, the Snyder
All the
Cut.
Warner Brothers movies.
The new-
this year.
Godzilla versus Kong is going to be on HBO Max.
I was just hoping there'd be
Dude,
some.
it's gonna be out there.
Suicide Squad.
I'm looking forward to it.
And the Peacemaker TV.
I've seen the Suicide Squad movies. Are you talking about the new one?
Yeah. The James
I mean, I was wondering if they were going to do like Marvel and have some cool TV shows.
yeah, the
We
Peacemaker
have two shows.
is an offshoot of the.
Oh, that John Cena thing? That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's James.
They have Titans on there.
I never watched that. Is that
Sorry.
good? It's all right.
I mean,
all,
it's
all
better.
the DC stuff. It's okay.
ridiculous because they're trying to be serious, but it's so
I
lovable.
think the first season's a little more fun. The second season kind of like everybody's just depressed all the time. Like, oh, okay.
I like the stuff they brought in. Like I
Yeah, I like-
brought Aqualad in for like an episode.
I love all that. The elements of it.
Stuff they do in the Titan season
They
2.
move from gritty to like melodramatic sometimes. Like, but it's good. It's worth watching.
It's fun. I enjoy it. And
I'll
you
check it out.
And as Bruce Wayne, who nobody likes for some reason.
I think he's great.
Whatever happened
I
to
think he's
that
great.
Gotham show? Is that still out?
It's
No,
not on.
it is.
No, I like went off the air like
10 years ago.
yeah.
Was that any good?
I liked it. I've always been a big supporter of Gotham. It was goony as hell, but it's so much fun.
I can't keep up
Oh,
with
do you see the
Arrowverse
Lois-
and all those shows.
Superman and Lois.
No, I'm the 23rd is when that's going to premiere. I want to see
That
it.
looks pretty good.
I like the new suit. He looks good.
Yeah, he doesn't have the weird thing anymore. Like
He's
it.
been working out too. He's a lot bulkier than he was last.
This one's interesting though because it's like them with teenage sons, and
Yeah,
he's.
I wish they had just followed the comics and had them had one son like in the comics.
But it's like it looks like it's like he moved back. They moved back to the country to raise their kids, and like he's still like, should I be Superman or not? But it doesn't seem like in a mopey way. It seemed pretty cool. And it's like, and they in the trailer he tells his kids that he's Superman. Like his teenage sons are like, no, and they like,
Oh, so he's hiding it from them?
But then the one
No
kid,
way,
he's like,
Dad, you're a
you have like the real moody one and not the moody one. He's like, you lied to me. Like it's like your dad's Superman. Get over
Do
it.
they have powers? Do they inherit?
They will.
I mean, they're going to find out sooner or later if they.
I assume they have powers. In the comic, their son had powers.
talk
He
about
became the new Superboy in the
Well,
comic.
maybe that's the reason why he tells them is they're getting along in
Probably.
years and they start
I just
developing.
A lot of those Greg Berlanti shows, those Arrowverse shows are fun, but they just don't have good writers, and you get tired of. Like I tried to watch Batwoman again when the new season.
Batwoman is horrible. I
It's
watched. I
bad.
think all of them have been watchable. Like all the seasons, you always fall off on them. I fell off Flash. Like I mean to go back, but they're great shows just to have
I
on.
go back to Flash. I could still watch Flash.
I didn't mind Arrow that much either. Like they're not bad just to have on. It's not great TV. It's not sitting down your couch just watching that. But it's like something. I tried to watch the first episode of Batwoman. Good lord,
Horrible writing.
it's horrible.
I want to watch it.
it's really goofy.
But it's not
goofy.
fun, bad. It's just bad. Like
It's like bad, and the whole setup is
boring bad.
bad. It's like
Titans is bad in some ways, but it's a fun kind of bad because
It
they're
kind of
trying
feels like
so hard that it's ridiculous.
Batwoman, you know what it feels like? It feels like a late 90s like USA show. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like
That's high praise.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna do. It's like that Pacific Blue. Like we're gonna do a superhero show, and it's like, ugh. It just
Yeah, and none of it's one of those where you're like most
Like in
those,
the
like, one
Baywatch sequel
character
where he was hunting
watchable.
vampires or
yeah,
whatever.
it just feels
What's
like
that?
that. Oh, yeah.
Even that is, I'm sure, watchable for what it is. Like you could watch episodes of that, and it's ridiculous in a fun way. But like usually, like the main guy or one or two guys in the show are fun, and then a lot of the supporting people are annoying. This is like all of the people are annoying. Like none of them are fun to watch.
I thought Doom Patrol was fun. I mean, it's
all right.
it's real low key.
Doom
That's
Patrol.
what I like about it. It's charming.
HBO Max too.
Yeah, that's the only one I've
I need to
seen.
watch that one.
I didn't like the way that they kept it off on a cliff.
I like that one better than Titans. It was more fun.
I need to watch that because I got to see the two part of it. That was more fun.
Season 2, I think, got more into it, but season 1 always bothered me because they never could figure out how to do weird correctly. Like it always just came off as
It's crazy later on. Yeah, they're like in other dimensions and stuff. Like it's
season 2. They're a little bit better at it. But both seasons have the problem of every character just screams everything.
Yeah.
Like that's
But
their version of drama.
the Brendan Fraser, I love when he screams. It's funny.
He's funny, but that Jane character is always like the center of every story, and there's like 64 personalities.
Yeah, I didn't like her actually.
They're terrible.
I thought it was a neat idea that they all have different powers. That's neat.
I feel sorry for
But-
that actress because it's like, this job required a really heavy duty actor.
Yeah, that's true. You got to do
all
all
their-
kinds of different personalities
all
and
they're
accents and
gonna do is
body
scream
language.
every line, and it's just not working.
and not everybody's what's her name, Tatiana Maslany, whatever. Like that,
Yeah,
she
she's-
does it in that show.
She-Hulk, it's confirmed. She's on for She-Hulk now.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, She-Hulk's coming out. There's so many shows.
Ryan Ruffalo's on that show with her. So
Yeah. So that'll
I
be
want to see how she becomes She-Hulk. How are they going to explain that?
Gamma Ray.
Gamma rays, dude.
Yeah, come on. Like
He's
that.
like,
I'm sure they'll have an origin episode because it's a TV show, but if
She'll over microwave something, and the microwave will blow up. And
But it's like, I know, like, if there's a world where there's no such thing as a Hulk, you'd have to explain it. But since there's Hulks, like, I would just open with her being She-Hulk as a lawyer, and that's the show.
you never know when it's going to take place because it could take place in those 5 years. Because if you read the thing, what the canon is, and they had a scene of that in deleted scene in Endgame, is that he's been a superhero for 5 years. He's the only one still going around saving people. Like
who? Hulk?
he's like
I
straight.
I need to. Are
So
the
there-
deleted scenes available on?
What's on
Disney?
the thing? Yeah, you can look at it's on YouTube. Just look it on YouTube.
Oh.
But there's like it doesn't have all the effects process, but it's like where Black Widow, he's like saving people from a burning building. It's like a Superman scene. He like
I want to see that. That sounds
so
interesting.
the lore is that he's been the last superhero left.
And he
It's like,
becomes Professor Hulk, I guess, during this time.
no, a part of the movie is that well, they didn't do this. Like he kind of happens almost like right after the snap or during the snap thing. And so the idea is that he's been a superhero for 5 years, like saving people still and stuff during this weird time. So it'd be interesting to see. That would be an interesting show to see, like
Which
what
makes sense because the kids come up, want his autograph and stuff, so they know who he is.
happens. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like he's a hero now. That would be fun to play
Listen
with.
to your mother. I like that. He's like, you want a picture of that man? They don't want this. He's like, I can get him. He's like, take the damn phone.
Well, it's fun. We
All
had
right.
fun with everything.
Yeah.
WandaVision's fun. Let's get back after another couple episodes and
Yeah.
see what we're right. We got any predictions? I'm going to say Mephisto's involved just because everyone else seems to think so. And they've made these name drops to the devil, which isn't necessary. And the
Yeah.
kids in the comics, the kids were made from him somehow.
In the original comic. Yeah, they retcon that in the comics too.
Yeah, but I don't read new comics.
I don't know any predictions. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be on the show. I think
Over the years, they've retconned those characters more than once.
right.
And I think they're going to be real because I predict this. Those kids are going to be old enough by the end of this series to start a Young Avengers.
right.
That's the whole reason they're bringing
And
them.
somehow they'll have intelligence and emotional maturity and experiences. Even like, I mean, they're how
Emotional.
Listen,
I mean,
it
they're
happens-
literal infants.
We watched this. I watched it. It happens in Lord of the Rings. The Uruk-hai get born out of the mud, and they're talking with an English accent 2 weeks later.
That's
They
true.
obviously-
That's true.
They know what a menu is conceptually. So all that
They
stuff.
obviously tapped into some kind of supernatural power because they understand concepts already.
Right.
Yeah.
And
They
how
know
to-
what a restaurant is. They
like
know what
she's
it's like
telling
to
them
do
not to grow. And these growth spurts seem to come with some kind of emotional maturity because she tells them, don't grow yourselves out of being children so that you can cope with the death of your
Yeah,
dog.
it's sort of like dream logic. I mean, when you're in a dream, there's other characters that you're creating. You know?
That's kind of what I like about the show. It's got that.
Weird.
It's got a logic of its own, but it's not the kind of logic that would work in any real world.
right.
But it's
Good
creepy.
So much
It's
fun.
creepy. I
I'm
love
glad-
creepy Marvel. I'm glad they're getting into horror because
You know, Sam Raimi, I really hope that the Doctor Strange sequel leans into the horror kind of stuff.
I think it is. I mean, that's what I've heard.
The wasted opportunity of the first movie was that one, it was an origin story, and who cares? Like, it's not like we have to see him go to medical school to understand how he became a
Which is
doctor.
so
One,
weird too, because it's like
go to
it's a,
magic school to understand how he became a wizard. Who cares?
I mean, I guess they feel weird of just a wizard just to show up.
Fine.
Right.
Do we feel better about it that we sat through 2 hours of seeing him read magic books?
They could have shortened.
Ooh,
that.
you know what could be cool? What's his name could be involved with this too. I didn't even think about Mordu or whatever. WW84. Because he
should
ends
come,
that.
yeah.
I mean, he could show up in WandaVision.
Oh,
I
the
mean,
guy
he is-
that was his friend and
yeah, because he ends
walked
that going, I'm
yeah.
going to get rid of all
and
witches.
killing all the magic people.
That guy would
What
be
is-
a good guy to go after Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, what if he's like part of this?
With this.
What if he's behind all that? That'd be kind of interesting.
But why would he be?
I don't
though?
think he's strong enough to do that.
I don't know. I'm just
To
saying.
control Scarlet Witch.
That's a reversal of his original position.
They even said that she could kill Thanos. That's how strong she was.
Another person. What if he's doing this to like siphon off all her power and then like do something to her? Maybe this is the only way you can catch her.
Oh, it's got to be a bigger bad guy than that.
He seemed more offended by breaking reality in the first movie.
That's true.
I don't think so, but he would be a good villain for people like that
Well,
because
because he's a fundamentalist like that. Yeah, that'd be. A good
Yeah, he'd be neat to see for sure.
yeah,
Well, he's in it. He's in the.
Doctor
movie.
Strange too.
Oh, the new movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see.
I
So
forgot.
my prediction is, because I can't think of anything else, Mephisto. Some people have been saying the Beyonder. Wouldn't that be wild?
I don't care about that. No. How's that track? That's just people saying things.
I know. That's why I didn't suggest it as an option, but I did read that. And I was like,
I could see Nightmare. I could see Mephisto. Like you said, they've done a lot of setting up for it being Mephisto, and it holds in the source material for it being Mephisto. But I can't see it being a non-supernatural, and certainly not an as yet undiscovered villain. Like that would be dumb.
I just think I don't know if they're gonna just have time to really explain a villain. I don't know if it's gonna. It might be a villain, but I don't think we're gonna get it till Doctor Strange.
no, I think it's gonna. You're gonna what do you call it? The cliffhanger, the last scene, the big show. You're gonna see the villain, and
I
that'll
think
be it.
it's gonna spiral off into
Just like we were talking about what they might have done with Thrawn, where you just see him.
right.
know, then
But
it's
I
like-
think that I don't think she's gonna be fine at the end of this season.
No, I don't think so
she's
either.
gonna spiral off, and
Yeah.
hopefully Vision lives. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know if that'll happen or not.
It creeped me out when they showed him dead for a second.
It's really creepy.
That was woo.
Yeah, it was like his head all blown out.
Yeah.
It's creepy when you watch it again. And that first shot when he comes in, he's like that. And when he's really like all blurry in the background, you're like, oh,
Oh,
it's
really?
like a horror movie.
First
It's like-
shot?
when he comes in the door, and the first time you see him like from afar, it's not even you could barely because he's all blurred out from the depth of field.
In the first episode?
No. In that scene though,
Oh, okay.
you kind of catch on when they really show it, but he's already like that in the background, which is like,
Oh, see, I need to rewatch that. I
It's
didn't catch
creepy.
that at all.
it's like a horror movie. You're like, there's a ghost right there. It's like really,
What makes it fun when you have these little Easter eggs is it makes you want to rewatch it.
It's fun when they layer it with interesting material. Yeah.
so.
So cool. We're all happy with it.
I
Good.
think it's going to be really good. I want to see more of these shows. I'm glad they're starting to crank them out yet because
I haven't disliked anything Marvel's done yet. Even Iron Man 2 and 3. I thought they had fun moments.
Even Doctor Strange 1.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, the one that I was probably the least plussed with would be Doctor Strange 1 because it took no chances.
I don't
But
know
it's
that
watchable.
Dormammu or whatever. That was a big chance.
Cool ending.
It's
I
like
think-
universe and universe destroying thing.
Every movie, especially superhero movies, has a big weird like climax. So you can always break something out in the last act like that. But
I just think that was
they
a
were
little
acting
bit too
that
big a
movie was
jump.
gonna really mess with people's minds, and then it was just a bunch of like flashy effects. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I just think that bad guy was too much for an introductory movie. You know what I mean?
I'm glad they had him. Otherwise, nothing would have happened in that movie.
Well, they could have had a cooler bad guy, but it doesn't matter. Anywho's,
He would have been
I never
fighting-
read Doctor Strange. I don't know anything about the comics for him.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed the movie because I didn't know much about Doctor Strange either. So
Yeah, I never read the comics.
and I guess that's why,
Did he?
they do it. They just do it. Origin story.
Somebody. Okay, fun. Let me
Cool.
know what you guys think next time.
Right.
Leave a comment if anyone
Right.
watching. Let us know you're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
God. I feel like I'm Wanda. And we're trapped in a podcast reality. We only exist in little 30-minute increments, and maybe there's like a whole camp of people watching us and like taking notes.
we have this.
How do
thing
we get
here.
into that reality?
We have about 4 to 6 viewers, so it's about
We're isolated. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like we're part of the real world. So give us a comment. Let us know what you think and stuff.
Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. TV at My Dinner channel is out there, so you can subscribe to that. We're also on Facebook. Look for Marvel Age Star Wars. Also, that's our other channel.
Mhm. That's
Which
a good one.
Post this to both of those channels and be done with it. But
Yeah. Who
yeah,
cares?
so check out that stuff, and we'll be back with more video content, more than we've done in the last month at least. But yeah, we'll start cranking out some video content, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. We'll be back with some more Marvel Age stuff also for the Star Wars because I'm dying to do some more of those videos too.
Yeah, I got some more show and tell stuff. We should do a show and tell with you guys too, Greg and Andrew.
Yeah, we should.
Oh yeah, yeah. I want
What's her name?
Andrew can show his like 3 things that he has.
Hey. Poor Andrew.
Maybe.
No, Andrew's the cool one that doesn't spend all his income on plastic toys for the last 30 years like we do.
I gave you a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures.
I still have those. You told me you gave them to me. I still have.
Yeah.
Not up there.
Yeah, you could show those off. That's fun. Anyways,
we'll save that for another night. But yeah, I'd like to do that too.
Yeah, those are always fun.
and we should have you guys on one of the ones where we read the letters because that's a lot of fun. I think Greg would have fun with that.
I enjoy those a lot too.
Yeah, I've enjoyed listening to those. Those are fun.
Those are illuminating. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
All right,
really
so
interesting.
check it out.
It's really interesting to hear them talk about it when they don't know much about Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like, here
that's
we are.
what's neat.
and how
Yeah.
quickly people became big fans of these things, and how quickly they start correcting people.
Yeah, and they're kind of funny too because they're nerds never change.
Yeah,
I know because I'm a nerd too. So Marvel Age Star Wars, check it out. You might have a hard time finding it because like all of our things, we exist in a different dimension.
yeah. If you're seeing this show, you probably know where to find that one.
Yeah. All right. Is that it, everybody?
That'll do it.
Are we
yeah.
actually broadcasting live?
No.
Like
I
going
wondered
out?
that.
On the
If
stream?
you're saying live, are we live?
Yeah, we're doing this.
Where's it
Oh,
going
we're
to?
going out on the stream? Oh, okay.
Some guy in Russia is watching us right now. Like, what is on my screen?
Yeah.
Somebody's in a
Live here.
like, what is happening?
The Americans have lost their minds.
Watch party.
That would be the modern version. It's just broadcasting an endless podcast. We're just talking and talking.
We're in a loop. We're caught in a loop.
Yeah.
It makes more sense to a podcast to be like a broadcast. It makes more sense that it'd be live, really, and the idea behind it
Well,
than some recorded, edited thing. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be like a radio show, But anyway, go ahead. Sign us off, Sean.
all right. My name is Sean.
I'm Brooks.
I'm Andrew.
I am
That's
Greg.
Greg.
Actually, I'm over here down in the bottom left corner for me. So
See, it's different. Yeah,
Oh,
we shouldn't bother with that.
they need to fix that.
That's
they
Greg.
actually need to fix that. Whoever's creating this website, that's a note. Let's put everybody in the right spot. That
Yeah, be consistent.
Assign everybody a spot. So
I think it is consistent on this
so
one.
like,
Anyway.
like Sean, like that's Sean over there. And
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
On this one.
And Andrew's above you.
Andrew's
We're all looking at the same.
over there.
All right.
Yeah, because I really want to. Oh, I guess you're right. I pointed at the wrong thing, didn't I? Yeah, there.
Oh,
Okay,
so
there's Andrew, and there's.
Greg.
I forgot that the camera is reversed, like a mirror.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Oh, so it does do it. That's great.
because we got to, we got to get that Brady Bunch thing where we look at each other. Okay.
I remember
Bye,
that.
everybody.
So I can look up at you and go, "Damn, Brooks, that's stupid."
See, now you're looking in the wrong direction again.
I know. I probably have to mirror myself. Damn, Brooks, that's stupid.
There you go. Whatever.
All right.
Recording.